So much hype surrounding this fight. And yes,
This bout is scheduled.
so they stare into each other's eyes. They ring the bell, and here we go.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So I was a pretty big fan of Fight Night Champion back in the day. Like that and Fight Night Round 3. I thought they were both really, really good boxing games. So I was pretty excited for Undisputed. Now, Fight Night Champion was obviously the latest one. The latest boxing game apart from this one. With this lineage, with this like semi-realistic sort of boxing game. And I was excited for Undisputed, but it's a bit dodgy. It plays sort of like a buggy version of Fight Night Champion, which is unfortunate, because Fight Night Champion was like a PS3 game, which is like a real shame, right? That a PS3 game is actually better than like a PS5 game, and it even looks better. Like some of the models in this, they look fucking hilarious. Like Canelo Alvarez looks fucking horrible. He looks like way more ginger than he is in real life, and it's just fucking weird. Some of the other models, and like the starting roster of boxers, it doesn't even have the classic 80s and 90s heavyweights back in the day. Like there's like no George Foreman. For some reason there's Riddick Bowe, but then there's also like no Lennox Lewis, and it's got all these weird like semi-modern heavyweight boxers that no one really pays any attention to. So it loses a lot of the lineage of the old classic Fight Night games. In addition to that, the sidestepping for avoiding punches and stuff, and the block mechanics are really sort of weird and buggy. Right? Sometimes the block just does not work. Doesn't even matter if you got full block bar. Traditional counters to punches, like the slip counter body jab to just a regular jab, sometimes that just doesn't work and you just eat the fucking counter straight up. Sometimes your jabs just do not land at all. It doesn't matter where he's standing, it doesn't matter the distance, any of that. Doesn't matter if he's started to throw a punch. They just don't land, and like that's fucking weird and buggy, right? And like the slip counter uppercut to like a jabber across, that just does not fucking work. Doesn't matter the distance, doesn't matter if he's super close. And if they're super close, for some reason, they can just punch like straight through your guard, despite you not being able to punch straight through their guard, and or deliberately targeting their body. The check hook, pivot hook, does not work very good at all here. The lower weight classes are even worse for this because they function faster in the block mechanic, particularly with like someone like Amir Khan, who's like well known for his speed and everything. That it really doesn't fucking work there. Like it's very critical, but it's still like pretty good. It's like a buggy version of Fight Night Champion, basically. Fight Night Champion was the best boxing game out there. Still is, including this one, unfortunately. But there's a lot of shit in the mechanics which just comes across buggy and frustrating. Like sometimes there is input lag on your punches. Like the controls are the same as Fight Night Champion, right? So you've got the analog stick to throw punches. like a flick upward toward the left is a jab, flick upward to the right is a right hand, left is a left hook, right is a right hook, and sort of down to the left is an uppercut, down to the right is a right uppercut. Like, it functions the same as champion, basically, and then you hold, I think it was L1 or whatever, to target the body. But it's buggy, and it's got like the worst parts of the buggy parts of Fight Night Champion, right? And yeah, it's just not that good. And like, when they've got the guard up and they're super close, that's an uppercut, right? So it splits the guard and you land the uppercut. But sometimes they can just do like a step back, and it's almost as if you have input lag on your uppercut. They step back and it just fucking misses, despite that being like the correct punch for the time when they're like in super close. It's pretty fucking frustrating, actually. Yeah. And obviously, sometimes it just doesn't matter if you block or not. They can somehow get the perfect footwork. And like, the footwork is not that obvious. You can't tell where they are in position. So sometimes they just like manage to get the perfect footwork on you and then punch straight through your guard, despite the fact if you've got the block button held or not. And yeah, it just doesn't work good. It doesn't feel intuitive, and it doesn't quite feel fair. And this is only on like normal difficulty as well. Like, you could play Fight Night Champion on the hardest difficulty and like win pretty easy with just like intuition of the controls and doing what you're supposed to do and all that sort of thing. But this one on normal difficulty, like, you can just get fucking hacked by like the AI. Just like punching either straight through guard or just for some reason it puts input lag on your attacks, and then it allows the computer to perfectly counter the attack. Just like shit like that. And it doesn't feel good, and it's very frustrating, and it's pretty bad. And it was in, to a certain degree, Fight Night Champion as well, but it's fucking really prevalent here. Like, it's... oof. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. It's definitely not as good as Fight Night Champion. It's an okay boxing game, but I'd probably only give it like a 7, where I'd give Fight Night Champion like a 8.5 or a 9. So... yeah, let's just go with 6.5 or a 7 until they, you know, patch it, work out some of the bugs with it. It's quite buggy with how it functions with its footwork. Like, the footwork's very slidey. It's not quite obvious where their position is, because the computer can sort of just pivot, and it's not step-based, right? It functions more as a glide in the game, so it's not completely obvious where everything is.
Because otherwise, why should it change?
Yeah. Look, still okay, but look, probably about a 7 out of 10.
Looks like a little change of strategy here, trying to loosen up the flow a little bit. Looks like he's going to move around the ring a little bit more, try some stick and move. Final 10 seconds here, and the corner better get warmed up. They've got some work to do. He threw a punch and just got countered. Let's talk about Ali in that last round. You've got to wonder how big of a... we're hoping for an all-action slugfest. Let's see how he bounces back here after getting dropped in the last round.
What a knockdown. 1 minute? You need 1 hour to get over a shot like that. Now it's down to conditioning. Now it's down to mental strength and preparation. It's how you are going to do it.
Tyson Fury in serious trouble. I don't see how he's going to get out of this. Down goes Fury. Blink and you miss it. Good thing we can watch that all over again.
Even I've got to see that again. Where did that come from?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're out. So it's onward and upward after a knockout win here.